I don't know that you're going to see a bigger game, like a more impactful game to the rest of the season. I don't know that you're going to see two teams that evenly matched go blow for blow. But eating cats and dogs, they're eating cats and dogs. Man's a lunatic. There are going to be negatives also. So they're interested to see how this turns out, how it shifts this country, how it shifts society to see a black woman lead this country.
What's up? Welcome to the Hube Knows Best Pod. I appreciate your support. In return, I hope I provide you with some worthwhile gems that benefit you on your journey. At the very least, I hope I put a smile on your face. If not, hopefully you share this with someone that does benefit. And I got you next time. Again, thanks for joining today, and let's get this thing going.
Welcome to another episode of the Hube Knows Best Pod. I'm going to give you the truth, the whole truth, as best I can, so help me God. You might be like, Hube, why you got on a sleeveless hoodie? Honestly, I'm tired as hell. I just got off a plane. I went all the way to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to watch my team lose in a very thrilling game. And then I had a flag football game as soon as I got off the plane. So this is what I had on for the game. So wanted to get some content out to y'all. Today, we're going to talk about the top 6 moments of July through September. I might retroactively go back and do a January through March and April through June. But right now, in the moment, September is about to be over as of tomorrow. So wanted to talk about those top 6 things. So let's get into it. Number 1, it's hard to talk about this because of what it has to relate to, but I don't think anybody can ignore the Diddy situation. So I guess that's my number 1 moments of this quarter, the last 3 months, is the Diddy arrest indictment. It's not so much that Diddy was arrested, but what Diddy was for the culture of hip hop for so long. And I always tell people like, hey, y'all can't look up to these celebrities, these famous people, because you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. And the stuff that's come out recently over the last, I want to say 6 months, is disturbing. It's alarming. And I feel like a lot of people are going to go down with this. I guess this is like the Black Epstein case, if you want to look at it that way. People are going to say, well, Hube, didn't you go to Howard? Didn't Diddy go to Howard? I never claimed Diddy. If you didn't graduate from my alma mater, I'm not claiming you. I don't even want to call him Diddy anymore. Sean Combs. So that is definitely probably my number 1 moment of the last 3 months, just because of the implications of how it shifts the culture, how it impacts the hip hop culture and the people that's impacted. And like, not for nothing, this man created a lot of opportunities for a lot of people, but clearly was a predator and someone that just was of poor character and was feeling himself too much. And, pride comes for the man, and his fall is going to be very hard. So prayers to all his victims, prayers to all the people that would be impacted by this. I feel for his kids. I feel for his family, but things happen. But, prayers to everybody involved. All right. Number 2, they're eating the cats and the dogs.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
Like I said, I just got back from the Georgia-Alabama game, and people literally had pens talking about eating dogs. Trump was at the game. That was a whole shit show in itself. I was downstairs trying to get some snacks before the game started, and they closed down concession just to let this man get some food. So this is not a political podcast, but it is, again, disturbing and alarming that someone of his age, of his mental aptitude, of his character, of his criminal background is being allowed to run for president, to be the leader of this country. But if we just take away any of that, anybody that would get on national TV and spread a rumor about Haitian people, any immigrant community, any subset of the American population that's unfounded, untrue, and stand on that, you got to question how that person is the representative for an entire political party. And a lot of times, as your presidential candidate goes, so does your party. And the Republicans are hitching their wagon to a man that seems to be trying to sabotage him and his vice president. But it's neither here nor there. But eating cats and dogs. They're eating cats and dogs. Man's a lunatic. All right. Sticking to the politics, I guess she's a Howard alumni. She's a woman of Black descent. So, of course, I have pride for her. But to have the first Black woman presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, her receiving that nomination, however it happened, people may agree or disagree with, but she is the first Black woman to be nominated by either party to be their candidate for the presidential election. So that is a big moment. Now, add on to that, she is Black. She is also of Indian descent. She is a alumni of the illustrious, the Mecca, Howard University. On top of that, she just, I was in DC when Obama was elected. I can't tell you what I was doing during that time, but I was there and it was a moment in time. So I can only imagine what it would be for not only the first Black person to be elected to president, but for this to be a Black, not the first Black person, for this to be the first woman, but also for her to be Black. That is going to inspire a lot of things, good and bad, from people, right? Obama being elected created the Tea Party that has evolved into MAGA. It'll be interesting to see the positives that come if Kamala were to win this election. There are going to be negatives also. So very interested to see how this turns out, how it shifts this country, how it shifts society to see a Black woman lead this country. And, Black women do be bailing out everybody. So I do not consider myself liberal or conservative. I'm more moderate. If I had to say or affiliate with a political party, it'd be libertarian. But in this two-party system, we know how that goes. But it will be interesting to just see what the ramifications, what the impact she has as president. Now, taking apart, being president is more of a figurehead role. They have some veto power. They can do some executive orders. But a lot of times, keep in mind, people, this is election season. A lot of change happens at your state and local level. At the national level, they only have so much power over you as an individual. But that said, big thing to have first Black woman president to be nominated. All right. I'm going to go a little dark here. We're going to talk about the deaths of the last 3 months. So we got James Earl Jones and Frankie Beverly and Mace. So if you don't know who James Earl Jones is, if you've ever watched Sandlot, top 5 movie for me all time. If you've ever watched Lion King, he is the voice of Mufasa, top 5 movie of all time for me. So James Earl Jones has impacted a lot of us, either directly or indirectly. Some of you don't know that James Earl Jones' voice was used for Darth Vader. So he has impacted so much culture in the movie realm and different genres, from kids to sci-fi to drama. He is a very impactful and prestigious actor. To see him pass, he was up in age, but it is still sad because that is one of the greats that is no longer here, who has impacted so many people with his acting and his voice, his distinct voice. So our rest in peace to James Earl Jones, condolences to his family. But that is like one of the biggest deaths, I would say, of this year, but definitely of the last 3 months. And then we have Frankie Beverly of Maze. If you Black, you know who Frankie Beverly is. You know his impact on our culture. If you ever been to a cookout around Black people, did electric slide, you heard Frankie Beverly. So I think those are 2 very impactful deaths. Of course, there are other people that have passed, but I think from a culture perspective, overall impact on me as a multitude of people, those 2 are probably the biggest deaths of the last 3 months. And so, like I said, rest in peace, condolences to their families. All right. Number 5, the women at the Olympics. I think the Olympics has gotten to a point where it's really a showcase of the women of the world versus the men. Like Simone Biles dominates gymnastics, even the controversy with Jordan Childs, but women dominating the narrative in the Olympics. You have the women's basketball team. You have Sha'Carri Richardson. She fell short. She got the silver, but all eyes were on track and field for the women, not really the men. I mean, I know Noah Lyles won his race, but nobody really cared that much from what I saw on social media. It was more of an impact that Sha'Carri didn't win. All that said, you got Katie Ledecky in swimming. Like, the women in the Olympics dominate. You got Gabby Thomas. I'm missing the young lady's name that does the triple jump. But just like so many talented and very like important to performance of the United States in the Olympics. They brought in most of our medals, if you think about it. And so kudos to those ladies, kudos to those athletes, kudos to the men as well. But the women at the Olympics was the story. They held up their end of the bargain, not only bringing eyes to the United States, but inspiring young women. So kudos to those young ladies. All right, let's talk about it. If you watched the game last night, I think, now, I'm a Georgia fan. You see the sign. This one is failed. So let's put that back up. You know, I got the Power G inside my bicep. I'm a Georgia fan. As a football fan, that is probably top 3 greatest games I've ever seen in person. And it sucks that it came in a loss, but I don't think I've ever seen such a shift in momentum in a game outside of the Rose Bowl in 2018, which I also attended. Yeah, I went to the Georgia-Bama game, Tuscaloosa, flew back home this morning. But to be down 28-0 halfway through the second quarter and for you to lose, for that game to end on a pass to the end zone with a chance to tie the game, that's a big moment in college sports. Like, I don't know that there's going to be a bigger moment, bigger thing the rest of the season. You know, there are going to be upsets. I don't know that last night was upset. Bama was favored by 1 point, according to Vegas. Everybody picked Bama to win. I don't know that you're going to see a bigger game, like a more impactful game to the rest of the season. I don't know that you're going to see two teams that evenly matched go blow for blow. Like, Georgia gutted out that game, and you know they didn't finish the drill, but the season's long. I said that they would go 11-1 6 months ago. There's that one. Don't expect Georgia to lose any more games, and I do expect them to win the SEC. And if we play Bama, they're gonna get that lick back. Why do I say that? Well, when you turn the ball over basically 5 times and you only lose by a touchdown on an interception when you had a chance to tie, that tells me something. So Bama had the momentum. They had the energy behind it because they was dedicating that field to Nick Saban. It was a night game in Tuscaloosa. You had the hurricane. I know there's travel things that's going on, but excuses, don't care who make them, right? But again, that game was in Alabama. If Georgia plays Alabama, neutral site, that game won't go the same way. Why? Because the stands won't be full of Bama fans. It'll be probably 50-50. The next time they play, they'll probably be in Atlanta. What does that mean? Probably more Georgia fans. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. But I can foresee Georgia playing Bama again with the right to be the top 4 seed, because Georgia only dropped to number 5 in the poll. So there's that. So we went from 2 to 5. Bama went from 4 to 1. But when you beat a team that you had down 28-0 by 7 points, because you had a great play by a freshman with 2 minutes left in the game, I don't know that you should feel that great about that win. I would be happy I won, but I wouldn't feel great. I wouldn't feel like, oh, we got their number, because they came back and took the lead after being down 28-0. And I don't know. I guess maybe I should keep this to myself. Maybe I'll get back to him. Hey, Kalen, head coach, Alabama, Kalen DeBoer. Football is simple. You were up 2 scores with 7 minutes left in the game. You let Georgia back in that game by throwing the ball. You run the ball when you're up 2 scores. You almost cost your team that game. So that being said, that was my personal 6 biggest thing that happened in the last 3 months. Excited to see what happens in the next 3 months from October to the end of the year. I mean, of course, my birthday is in October, so that's always a big deal. But I kid. But it's going to be an interesting football season. Basketball season starts. The World Series is going to happen. The election is going to happen. So many things are going to happen over the next 3 months.